This is Mark with Vilo, and today we will be doing a quick demo on our ISP management portal. When you first receive your Vilo shipments from your shipping carrier, you need to immediately unbox and scan them into your portal inventory. You can do this with the app. When you are scanning into the Vilo inventory, it will show up on the inventory page in the portal. From here, you'll be able to see what type of packs they are, whether it's 3 packs, 1 packs, or if you're ordering below 6, 2 packs. From here, you can also separate pre-configured mesh if you are only deploying 1 unit or perhaps only 2 of the 3 units. You can go ahead and break the mesh here as well. Once it's been scanned in and it receives a DHCP address, you can go ahead and do remote configuration. With remote configuration, you turn it on, and as long as it's on a up-to-date firmware, and you'll have your guidelines up here at the top, it will go either to the default SSID and password, which would be Vilo, and then underscore the last 4 of the MAC address, and that will be on the label at the bottom of the Vilo. Or you can create a custom SSID and a custom password. When you're doing the remote configuration, it will show up in Wi-Fi networks if it is online and receiving a DHCP address. And from here, you can go ahead and manage it. For instance, we'll go ahead and work on my Vilo 5 lab. You can hit the View button to dive deeper into the settings controlling that particular Wi-Fi network. You have devices, usage report, guest Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi settings, which is where most of your troubleshooting will take place, along with some other tabs we'll go over. From here, you can set your SSID password for the 2.4 or the 5. You can also turn off band steering. Band steering combines 2.4 and 5 into one SSID. By turning off band steering, some devices will be able to distinguish between the two better, and that way if you have any particular devices that are having trouble, they'll be able to find the SSID and connect. You can change the channel width on the 2.4. However, on the AC 1200 model, our Wi-Fi 5 model, you cannot change the channel width on the 5 gigahertz. You can only change the frequency that it runs on. There's a chipset limitation on our Wi-Fi 5 model. However, Wi-Fi 6, you can change the channel width. If you decide that there's a problem with the size of the channel and it's causing interference, you can always come up and change the signal strength. What this is your output power. High is 100%, standard is 75% output, and low is 50%. Your Wi-Fi interference tab, you will see that the longer the orange bar, so the longer the dark color bar, the better the quality. It's kind of counterintuitive, so please make sure you pay attention here. So right here, this Vilo in my lab has determined that there's not a lot of interference. If you need to, you can always hit Optimize Wi-Fi, and that will run a channel scan and automatically set the frequencies for 2.4 and 5 to the best channel determined by the Vilo and its algorithm. You can always restart Vilos here. If there's multiple mesh ones, you can select with the checkbox and do all of them or just one of them. You can schedule regular restarts. The time zone is dependent in the portal upon going to settings and time zone. So make sure you set the time zone in your portal corresponding to with where you are deploying these Vilos. You can pick the time, and you can pick whether you want it to be a repeat occurrence or a multiple repeat occurrence. maybe once or twice a week if you so choose. Purpose of scheduling regular restarts would be more for running the channel optimization, because every time the Vilo boots up, it runs a channel scan and optimizes the Wi-Fi. This is one way to keep customers from having some self-interference at home by scheduling regular restarts. Speed check. We are powered with speedtest.net UCLA. So we call it speed check, courtesy of some of their requirements. We have the hardwired main Vilo, and I've disconnected these just because I leave them on too much and I can't be sitting in a pool of radiation forever. But your sub Vilos will show up in here as well. You can run speed checks across all of them. When you run a speed check, it takes approximately 60 seconds. It's the same thing as if you went to speedtest.net and you hit the go button. It will reach out and grab the nearest speedtest.net server and go ahead and run a speed check. From there, it'll post its results right here. And you can also do a history on the speed and see that you're getting your speeds and what time and date stamp the speeds are running on. You can schedule a speed check. You cannot schedule multiple speed checks at this time or reoccurring. We are working on that. But for now, if you want to schedule a single speed check, for instance, if a customer says they have problems at 9 p.m. at night during peak hours and your staff is not equipped to run a speed check at that time and you just want to schedule it, you could review the results the next day. Firmware upgrade. We recommend you do leave firmware upgrade toggled on. It will tell you some of the more recent bug fixes on whatever firmware is out and which firmware your unit is currently running on. So some of my sub Vilos are running on some outdated firmware. I actually leave it that way for testing purposes. WAN settings. Here you can select between DHCP, PPPoE, static. You can set manual DNS. LAN settings. If you need to run a particular IP scheme, you can. You can come to manual IP. There's also bridge mode, which will turn the unit into more of a Wi-Fi access point and less of a router. What's going to happen here is you're going to lose some functionality as well. And that will be displayed right here in the orange box. Under manual IP, make sure you set your starting IP and your ending IP addresses. By default, it comes on a 192.168.58 subnet /24. If you need to set DHCP reservations or if you need to conduct port forwarding, you can come here and you have to have a DHCP reservation before you can use port forwarding. You hit the add button, you will pick the device and it will populate with the IP address. From there, you can come over to port forwarding and hit the plus button, pick the DHCP reservation that you had already selected, and conduct your port forwarding. On Wi-Fi 5, our other settings currently have SIP ALG. You can turn this on or off based upon your VoIP needs. On Wi-Fi 6, this will show hardware NAT. Hardware NAT will be turned on or off depending upon some features that you need. If you turn on usage report, then hardware NAT turns off so that it can maintain some extra processing power for some extra router functions and tracking. Operation logs. This is related particularly to the Wi-Fi that we are already in. Remember, we are in a specific Wi-Fi network. This will just show all commands issued and what IP address it came from. If you have any issues, you can submit a firmware log. You can type whatever problem you are having. We do ask for contact information and a name so that we can refer to you properly here, because sometimes email does not come with a name attached. Any supporting documentations, screenshots and video are extremely helpful if you are capable of doing some screen grabs. You can always navigate left and right on the menus up here with these little arrows. Under subscribers, you can create your subscribers. This will also come up in the app when you're conducting the install. And the purpose of this is when you're at the main Wi-Fi network's screen, before you go into the Wi-Fi network, you can come over and set specific subscriber IDs. That way, when you are managing the customers in your portal, you can type in the customer's name or customer's name account number, however you wish to organize it, and it will filter through the pages and pages of SSIDs and pull open that customer's particular Vilo network. If you are not organizing it with subscriber ID, the only other way to distinguish is by the Wi-Fi SSID name. So it is highly encouraged to use subscriber IDs and to stay organized from launch. You can also change ISP app account, whichever one of your technicians or staff needs to control that Wi-Fi network from their mobile. Or you can give customers access if you so wish, right here on subscriber app account. This is your quick high-level overview of the ISP management portal.